Let's fucking roll. Good day, everybody. Welcome to the SALTYmf Go podcast. Today, we're really excited to have Conrad Cornell of Press Sports, one of the founders. I'm really excited to talk about this today. It's a platform for high school and college athletes. There's about 700,000 athletes on it today, and we're going to learn more about it today with Conrad. So, Conrad, welcome to the show, bud.
Thanks for
having me. Good to have you, man. Good to have you.
Appreciate it.
So when I saw your platform, I was really excited because, in high school, we didn't have anything like that would help promote us. And with the social explosion of what's going on with video and TikTok, your platform really kind of helps these athletes really kind of put themselves in a better light. So tell us a little bit about the history. How'd you find it, and tell me what's going on right now.
I mean, I'm sure it's pretty similar to SALTYmf in a lot of ways. You have this idea and you're just like, I cannot believe this doesn't exist. We're gonna make this real.
Yeah.
So we were in college and got to the end of my career. I played baseball at Mercer University down in Macon, and kind of, was getting ready to be done playing ball and didn't have any highlights to look back on. Never wanted to post my stuff on Instagram, or we had retweeted some stuff, and talking with my teammates, we're all kind of in the same boat, and we had a lot of guys get drafted on the team that didn't post any of their highlights from throughout their career. We had a first-round pick that won Rookie of the Year for the Mariners. He didn't share any highlights, and it's like interviewing a bunch of middle schools and high schools. There's like 90% of athletes, like 99% of female athletes said, I don't feel comfortable posting my highlights on mainstream social media.
Right.
And so, you look at other vertical platforms, LinkedIn for business, but Strava and fitness, Metal TV and gaming, Goodreads for reading, Fishbrain for fishing, and they have such positive, healthy communities of people all there, kind of with common interest, engaging with feature sets that make sense in the context of how those communities are built in real life. And so,
that's awesome.
There's nothing for team sports, and we, dove in head first.
That's awesome. It's funny now because today, social media, you're right, like most of the pictures and stuff are not really focused, or that you have it in the genre where I see where you guys are also having like college coaches or really kind of teams that are on the platform as well. So the colleges can kind of, I guess the coaches can kind of look at these videos, look at the athlete profiles. Are they using that for recruiting as well? Is that what the coaches are using it for?
There's a lot of coaches that use it for recruiting, and that's a big focus for us moving forward, as we're trying to bring, a lot more recruiting utility, especially to our high school users. But kind of when you think about the foundation of what we built, our core user experience is around, content and consuming relevant sports highlights. So if you're a middle school volleyball player in Texas, your feed's going to be people at your same level around you. Whereas opposed to on, mainstream social, you're probably going to see the best of the best in your sport. So relevant content experience, and then connectivity. So connecting, people to other athletes similar level to them, or if you're getting to the point where you're interested in recruiting, providing you the tools to kind of own your own recruiting process.
That's awesome. I wish I had that as a kid, and then having 4 kids as well that were athletes, that would have been really unique. What I think is pretty neat as well, as far as, I coached league sports for almost 22 years, is the context of the athlete, not only obviously their highlights, but I know that they have profiles and things they like. I'm curious about how the name, image, and likeness that's going on really kind of in college and kind of bleeding down into high school. It just seems like Press Sports is just like an ultimate platform for these young athletes to get involved in this NIL sponsorships. Like people like us with Salty, we sponsor athletes through Icon Source and our SALTYmf Player of the Week on Brinks TV. So have you seen anything kind of indicating that would just be a really great opportunity for the young athletes?
We're definitely building relationships with those NIL marketplace companies, and there are a few that we'd like to move on sooner than later. But it's pretty clear the synergy is we've got a lot of these athletes. Yeah. They're getting ready to start linking their Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, so that we can kind of have follower counts across platforms and understand kind of what their engagement looks like holistically across the board.
Yeah.
And so I think as, that data continues to flow in and we're able to, link up in partnerships with companies like Icon Source and others, like we could really, kind of hand off, I don't know if that's the right word, but, connect users to the brands that they already work with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, like from our perspective, it's been really nice to be able to have a way to contract with the athletes. And, we were really excited to, talk to you and potentially do like go to the week, with Press Sports. I think that's something we're going to do.
We're doing it.
He said it. We're going live next week.
I got to just show you the draft on my computer.
Well, that's awesome. I think what I think on all this stuff now at the high schools are, I think when they move this from a legal perspective, I know that some states allow you to do that, and I don't know all the legalities around that, but I think it's a really good play for the athletes in the NIL space to help them build their brand, because a lot of these kids have probably already been doing that on your platform from the time they were middle school all the way up to seniors, right? I mean, you've got some longevity of people that have been on it, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think we kind of want to be a central hub for an athlete's career.
Yep.
So all the key moments, all their best highlights from all the different sports they play, from weightlifting, a documentation of all the teams they've played for.
That's great.
Their target list of schools and measurable data, and kind of graph that out of their fastball velocity or 40-yard dash, and they can add proof and we can verify it.
That's really cool. That's awesome. I would think as an agent, we've kind of been dealing with agents and dealing with some of their athletes. Like from an agency perspective, I would think it would be a good opportunity to kind of get involved with Press Sports at some level, because I mean these are kind of the next crop or group of star athletes coming up. I've heard we had Tim Worley on the show, and he said he was getting recruited when he was in ninth grade, actually by Georgia Tech. But that was unheard of, because I don't want to say Tim's an older fellow like me, but that was unheard of way back then, I think, to recruit a kid in ninth grade. But now they're, looking at kids as, 7th, 8th grade. It's nuts.
Yeah, we definitely had guys that I played with getting offers towards the end of middle school, early high school, committing to big schools. And it's like, if you're not one of those guys, you kind of figure it out quick, and you're like, man, I got to really figure this out for myself.
Yeah.
And that's where we really come into play for those athletes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's true, because I think when Aaron Murray was on, he was talking about that the athletes have really more control over all these NIL and brand deals, because some people like us, we're not looking. They don't have to be a 5-star athlete or the best running back we want people with attitude and people that are funny and kind of lighthearted. And so I think I would say to the kids, even on that platform, if you don't get to go to that D1 school or whatever, it really doesn't matter. If you love it, you have a good personality, I think there's a lot of opportunity for them to build their brand.
Well, and in a lot of ways, especially with the new transfer rules, it's like you might be better off going to a mid-major school or a Division II school or JUCO to go develop for a year, because you can transfer right in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this, the Southern Conference is the conference I played in college, and they're getting killed because all the best players every year are just moving to the SEC.
Yeah.
And so, if
that NIL money is big in the Southeast.
Yeah, go get paid. I mean, makes sense. But that's tough if you're a mid-major school, but also if you're an athlete that's thinking about, do I walk on at Georgia Tech or do I go ball out at a Southern Conference school? It's like, playing is the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, and also I think the NIL has a lot of opportunity to help, even if there's not longevity when you move into maybe the NFL or you go on to kind of major league sports, you still can learn about business, build your brand, learn how to market yourself. And so I think your platform's kind of like a really good solid foundation for these athletes. So what do you think the benefit is for the kids themselves? I know that a lot of what I read about it when I was looking more deep into what you guys were doing, a lot of the kids were using it more as a support group. They found athletes that might have been a swimmer or a baseball player, and they literally were kind collaborating back and forth on training routines or giving advice. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a neat way to look at it, other than what we've been talking about, NIL and all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was always the hope, was that you build a vertical community, you build all these features that only make sense in the context of sports, and everyone's there and just kind of wants to support each other because they all have the same interests. There's no, you're not putting people that love art and something totally different in the same room and expecting them to like support each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like it just kind of happened that way, and we've never, we're obviously, as we continue to scale, going to look into more and more things to make sure it stays that way.
Right.
But it's been pretty amazing to see kind of the community rally around each other, and these kids, like, I mean, if you look at our reviews on the App Store, it's like 4.9 stars, 12,000 reviews, and that's kind of the most common theme is like, this place is such a good place for my son or daughter. A lot of parents will write the reviews to like get support and feel good about themselves.
Yeah, and it's focused, and it's not a bunch of stuff out on TikTok or goofy stuff. I mean, it's actually these kids put a lot of time and effort and passion and hard work into to doing whatever they're doing, right? And so to be recognized on a platform that other people kind of appreciate that versus doing a silly dance or something is pretty cool. You said something to me when we were setting up about how many was it? 29 people went to the Major League Baseball. How many?
Yeah, we've it's pretty crazy, but we've had 29 athletes on the app get drafted in the first round.
That's insane. I don't know if there's anyone out there that's a statistics person, but that's pretty incredible. That's incredible.
This past year it was like we were watching the draft. It was a Sunday. We were in the office and we were watching the draft. It was first pick, guy who's been on the app forever. Second pick, third pick, fourth pick, fifth pick. The first 5 picks. We're all like, we were looking at their profiles like, you've got to be kidding me.
That's awesome. Well, you better get on Press Sports out there, athletes, if you're not on it, because they've got a pretty good winning record with some of these guys and ladies getting into the pro sports. So what's some advice that you have? I know the hardest thing, like getting people to sign up, is there like I know it's pretty easy. I looked at your process to get set up, and I had a couple friends that are in high school that are really good athletes. I said you should get on it, and they said it was an awesome experience and really easy to do. But like, what's some of your advice to the athletes that are building a profile on Press Sports, like the basic things they should do, and maybe like kind of like a best practice on the app?
Well, a fully edited profile is huge, so people can find you easily and know that like you're taking it seriously, and they'll want to engage with you more. But I think a big hurdle, and we try to address this kind of in onboarding emails, is like thinking that you have to have epic highlights to post, and it's like, we actually want you to go post the oldest stuff that you have access to first. Yeah. So you can document your whole career. It doesn't matter if you got on your freshman year of high school. If you have footage from 7th grade, like throw that up first so it's back there. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like a game-winning spike or a touchdown or a home run or like a slam dunk. It could just be casual footage from practice or something from the weight room if you're putting in hard work and you want for people to see that. And because it's like in a lot of ways it's like a Huddle link. Like, people will often kind of confuse us with Huddle, and coaches pay for Huddle so they can share footage of past games and incoming opponents with their team by position group. And then if you're tagged in footage, you can make a highlight tape and share it. And so a lot of the footage we see is actually from Huddle. But kids will share their Huddle tape, and coaches can go see, a 5-minute highlight tape. It's just like Press Sports. You can send your profile link out to anyone, and they have a web profile, and they can see all your highlights in short form, which is kind of the direction that everything's moving.
That's great. I would also, like I said back, and I'm not pushing NIL at all, but I think personality, and I think like Press Sports and your platform tied with like Huddle and some of these other platforms gives their personality, right, who they are. If I'm recruiting someone, that they may be a great athlete, but I may be looking for a particular type profile, of an athlete that I know is going to fit in my program. So
yeah, we definitely could do some more stuff with that in the product, like have kind of prompted interviews.
Yeah, that'd be great.
To kind of get them to introduce themselves and say some different things, like maybe what they like to do. we've talked about it and haven't moved on it, but we're moving fast now, which is a lot of fun. So that's the kind of stuff we can get.
Well, I was excited to have you on because just kind of we Salty really wasn't meant to be kind of an athletic brand, and we just kind of got pulled into this, and it's just been a lot of fun. It's brought back a lot of memories of coaching kids and athletes, and I mean it's actually perfect. So I mean I'm really excited that you are gonna let us do the go to the week with Press Sports. That's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
I think there's a lot of synergy when you think about for a brand partner. We did a survey the other day, like what do you identify the most as, and we got a couple hundred responses, and it was like underdog was like 33%, and it's like the kids who love Press Sports are SALTYmf. Like they have a chip on their shoulder. They've got something to prove, and so I think they're gonna love it.
That's awesome. I can't wait to do that. I think we also need to get out there and get old John Brinkus out there on Brinks TV, giving us some more exposure across the Press Sport Go to the Week. So we'll work on that. That's a hint out there, NIL house. So. Well, what would you say in closing? I know you're a young entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur, and good times, bad times. It's tough It's kind of tough raising that baby, but I think you guys have done a good job. I mean, once again, getting 600,000, 700,000 plus people to sign up on any application is a feat that's amazing. So no matter what. I mean, I think that's incredible. I think awareness out there, all you guys and ladies in high school across sports, football, basketball, baseball, cheerleading, volleyball, get your profile on Press Sports. I think it's gonna really help you out. So.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's probably like one of the best tools that you can get out there. Realistically, it's like and one of the things that's kind of becoming a core belief for us is that people shouldn't have to pay to get recruited.
Yeah. I have a son that's in lacrosse going through it right now, and like they walk you through this, how they're going to help you get recruited, and they're going to do all this thing, and then they hit you with it's only $5,000, and I'm like, wow, really? That's cool. I mean, how about no? He can grit it out, right? I'm going to put him on Press Sports. So.
Well, we have the features in there to where he can reach out to every single lacrosse coach in the country, build his target list, and find every program in the South at all levels.
Well, that's interesting because that's time consuming, right? Everyone that I've talked to that has a kid that's doing that, trying to find those ideal schools. I mean, so that's worth highlighting again. So you basically you're in basketball, volleyball, whatever, you can reach out via the Press Sports app?
Yeah, you can reach out directly to every coach, regardless of whether or not they're on the app. And, we're trying to grow more and more coaches that are actually engaged in the platform every single week. And we've got a strategy now that's working for us. But, it's a startup, so you got limited bandwidth. We're doing it as much as we can.
Yeah. That's amazing, though. I mean, that's a big deal for recruiters and the kids. So, anything you want to say that we haven't covered? Because I love it. I saw the platform. I think it's awesome. I wish I was in high school again, but that was a long time ago. So these guys really have some great tools at hand, and it sounds like you've built a really big community and a good community. There's value in it.
If you're watching this and you are associated with kind of a amateur sports team, youth sports team, that's one of the big things we've rolled out into the product is teams. We're going to continue to iterate on them and make them better so you can, tag your team to the organization, and then, everyone can kind of, as they post, tag highlights to the team. There's a team chat, and we'll move into kind of more schedule-like stuff. And
that's any club. I mean, that can be a high school club, college club, because I know a lot of universities don't have like lacrosse and other sports as kind of formal, but they have clubs, right? So that's not just high school.
Yeah, I mean, I think we support more sports than we probably should. But it's fun, and we're excited about it. We're gonna get ready to move into some stuff with like rating organizations potentially. We're starting to think about that, and because we've heard from a lot of parents that would be helpful as they kind of evaluate the options for their kids.
So different kind of like travel league or travel teams, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that would be good because I know those travel programs they're gonna gobble you up if they think you're any good. So,
it's a huge business.
Yeah.
Like the travel sports. Anyway, that like youth sports in general is like every time you read an article, it seems like they're saying the market size is bigger and bigger.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much. I used to run a local park here for the Football Association. At the time, we were the largest in the southeast, east of the Mississippi. And, just by the volume of players we had, we obviously raised a lot of money and got a lot of money. So there's a lot of money in it. Hopefully people are putting it back into the program and bettering the program. But there certainly is a lot of money and good things that come out of these kind of team sports, travel, or, whatever they may be. But, well, man, I really appreciate having on the show. If you're a high school athlete, a team sport, even in college, I mean, we didn't really go over this. There's like 10,000 to 20,000 plus, college athletes. A lot of those have kind of spent their life on the press sport from middle school all the way up. But it's not just the platform for high school. So any athlete out there can really be on press sports, right?
Yeah, I think, it's going to be, as we continue to kind of evolve on the way that we think about NIL, we're hoping to bring more and more value to the college athletes, and then obviously with the transfer portal now, like the coach directory could be equally as valuable if you're thinking about putting your name in.
Yeah, I love it, guys. Go out and check out Press Sports. Today we were talking with Conrad Cornell. So upcoming next week, I've got my resting beard face on. We've got the founder of Wild Willie's, Chris Wilson, will be on the show. So we're going to talk about Wild Willie's is just kind of taking the whole men's grooming product line to the next level. They've done a really good job. So we're really excited to have Chris on and hear the story about Wild Willie's. But Conrad, you're a good man. I appreciate you having you on. Yeah, so go Nation, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week with Chris Wilson. Let's go.